jaw, staring at the screen, blinking seldom, as though he were witnessing his life play out frame by frame. The prosecution pounced on it like hyenas, and one courtroom observer murmured, "It was like he saw a ghost, his own." "Ladies and gentlemen," the DA said, her voice full of dramatic passion. Defense lawyers rushed to have the video removed, claiming metadata errors and chain of possession issues, saying, "We finally have what we've been waiting for. Visual confirmation of movement of intent." The judge, however, wasn't being cruel. The video remained in there. Chaos broke out on social media outside the courthouse. This case has just become a crack episode of Making a Murderer. Twitter was used by one individual. Melly's cuisine was posted by another. He was simply buried by that video. But hold on, there's more. According to a recently released forensic study, Melly's seat's inside door handle allegedly had gunshot residue, something that wasn't revealed during the initial experiment. Well, convenient. And a confidential jailhouse informant, of course, if that wasn't crazy enough, has recently surfaced with purported audio recordings of Melly discussing tying up loose ends, despite being suitably nameless. In one excerpt, he is said to have said, "They tried to play me. I had to handle it myself." For no dates or any details, just a vague threat that is enough to get a courtroom in disarray. At the hearing, prosecutors played it as if it were the halftime show for the Super Bowl. At this point, the judge called for a 30-minute recess, likely to prevent the courtroom from exploding into full-blown hysteria while Melly was being escorted out, clearly trembling, biting his lip, and whispering something under his breath. And here's the part that got everyone talking. Melly reportedly yelled at his own legal team, "Turn that off. That's not real." She said that he didn't look angry, but rather broken, as if something inside him had just given up. Now, fans are going crazy, and TikTok is overflowing with side-by-side analyses of the footage. Slowed down, zoomed in, and run through AI enhancements. That's him. That's Melly, one viral clip asserts. But not everyone is persuaded. Some ardent supporters are yelling, "If this footage existed back then, why now? Why after all this time? Who's pulling the strings?" Inside legal circles, the atmosphere is icy, with one anonymous Florida prosecutor reportedly telling a journalist off the record, they've got enough now to bury him. While conspiracy theories are exploding faster than Florida humidity, one thread even claims that this is all part of a larger crackdown on rap artists, accusing the legal system of using the voices of those who oppose it as examples. First take now, Melly. Y'all don't see the pattern. Another post reads, accompanied by a crying emoji and a broken heart. This would be the unexpected twist in a movie. One enormous wild card remains, though, Melly's mother. "They've been attempting to frame my baby from the beginning," she said on Instagram Live immediately following the hearing, tears flowing down her cheeks as she yelled into the phone. The video is a hoax. The sound is fraudulent. "I'm familiar with my son, ... He didn't do this." Like a ripped seam, the remarks were divided. Some expressed their support by using hashtags like #FreeMelly and prayer emojis. Some weren't that generous. "The murder scene actually included your son's silhouette. Sis, get up." Even the circles of celebrities are speaking up. While DJ Academics posted a reaction video with the caption, "This isn't looking good, y'all. Not good at all." And here's where it turns from legal drama to something almost supernatural. Buzzy Badass tweeted, "Day ain't done with Melly. This is a message to all of us. Watch your moves." The internet, of course, is consuming it all. Rose is haunted by his own actions. One tweet reads, "You can't outrun what you did or didn't do. That's the thing. The more you dig, the murkier it gets." They have claimed that Melly has been acting increasingly erratic in his cell since the footage surfaced. One even claimed that he has been talking to himself for hours, pacing in circles and refusing meals. Whether he is guilty or not, the tide is turning quickly, like a ticking time bomb, and we haven't even reached closing arguments yet. And just when you thought the situation couldn't get any worse, the prosecution released a second video. Yes, you heard that right. Another angle. Another angle of the same night, but this time it was longer, clearer, and, dare we say it, way more damning. However, the jury wasn't just this footage didn't just show him at the scene. It also suggested that he staged it. Let that sink in. The time stamp now matched up with traffic cams from a nearby gas station. The audio was improved by FBI audio specialists, and you could clearly hear someone in the car say, "Y'all ready?" before a sudden spike in static and what sounded suspiciously like a gunshot. The question was, so, who said it? The voice sounded eerily similar to Melly's own tone, low, teasing, confident, the kind of voice that doesn't expect to be caught. Defense lawyers tried their best to claim that the audio was too degraded, but let's face it, by this point, the damage was done. Twitter was exploding. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone suddenly became an expert in voice recognition. And hashtags like Melly said and hashtag Justice for JUVIE was trending all over the world. The media circus is unstoppable. CNN analysts, TikTok, and washed-up rappers jumped out of the woods to weigh in as if they were in the car that night. It didn't stop there because prosecutors, obviously riding high on the high of the jury's reactions, pulled out what they called Exhibit D, and get ready because this one was the kicker. A handwritten letter found in Melly's cell was folded and stuffed inside a ramen noodle wrapper. And no, this is not a joke. When you're next in line, loyalty isn't always sufficient. The defense cried out, fabricated faster than a mumble rapper at a press conference. They said that handwriting experts had not confirmed it. And they blamed the janitor, prosecutors, and jail guards for planting it. However, the jury's reaction was a complete 180-degree turn. Melly no longer appeared to be the entertaining, eccentric artist with a twisted alter ego. Instead, he appeared dangerous. And then came the cherry-on-top testimony from inside the jail. Using a camera stream, an unnamed prisoner who was only seen in silhouette and whose voice was muffled stated that Melly boasted about getting away with it, saying, "Melvin made the call. I only did as I was told." Come on now, what does it even mean? Is the alter ego hypothesis only a publicity gimmick? Or was Melly actually confessing and assigning blame to a fictional character? In any case, the jury was consuming it like popcorn at a horror film premiere. His lead attorney was seen scrawling notes so quickly you'd think his pen was on fire. And Melly looked done. He wasn't smirking anymore. No playful grins. No cryptic glances toward the camera. Just cold and still silent. The prosecution literally paused just to let the tension breathe. You could hear someone's phone buzz in the gallery, and even that felt like a gunshot. By this point, Melly's own legal team appeared as if they would rather be battling traffic in the Miami heat than endure another hour of this catastrophe. Our supposedly trustworthy courtroom insider claims that the judge muttered under his breath. This just became something else entirely. Oh, you think that's dramatic? Wait for this. When court resumed the following day, new witnesses were introduced out of the blue. The judge called a recess, neither because someone requested it nor because they needed a moment. They were supposed to be Melly's old Florida crew, but they weren't there to help him. Nope, they brought stories, accusations, and claims that Melly had been paranoid for months prior to the murders, that he was discussing betrayal, and that he thought someone in the YNW crew was talking to the wrong people. One man claimed that Melly kept bringing up a cleanup plan in case something went wrong. Let that marinate. Another claimed that Melly discussed how accidents occur when people forget the rules. Slaughterhouse. Now for the real twist. The defense threw a curveball of their own, claiming that Melly wasn't the aggressor, but rather the target. Yes, they said, the real plan that night was to kill him. That Melly was tricked into getting into the car. That the bullets were intended for him, but he miraculously survived and changed the story to protect himself. And they even mentioned alleged death threats he had received days prior to the shooting. For 6 arduous years, he managed to keep things together. Just icy looks and courtroom silence, no sobs, no breaks. However, as soon as the screen came up, everything stopped. Just released a video of a murder. Today, YNW Melly lost it when footage that the public was never allowed to view was shown in court. We are referring to a complete emotional breakdown, tears streaming down his cheeks, trembling, screaming. He was violently removed from the room by security. And what was that video? Why did it stay concealed for so long? And who was the source of the leak at the precise moment it could ruin his last opportunity to be free? This wasn't some hazy video from the parking lot. This was blatant, unsettling, and heartbreaking. It purportedly depicted the events leading up to the double murder that Melly said he didn't do. The internet is currently on fire. The courtroom is a mess. Furthermore, it appears as though Melly's whole legal team has just seen a ghost. What if the video demonstrates everything that the prosecution has previously been afraid to acknowledge? What if it completely alters the decision? Lyrics are no longer relevant, or hypotheses. Evidence and a rapper eventually losing it are the subject of this. Let's examine the actual cause of YNW Melly's outburst today. According to them, the courtroom was completely closed down. That there would never be any leaks, no phones, and no cameras. However, what do you think? Then they lied. And now, the unimaginable has occurred. A fresh video purportedly taken inside. The actual murder scene has emerged, and it already poses a serious danger to YNW Melly's whole case. As the video began to play, the courtroom became silent. And Melly, the man who has been in prison for the past 6 years, grinning every morning as if he had just landed a mixtape deal. His eyes became wild, his fists clenched, and he went into full meltdown mode. In an effort to calm him down, security even had to halt the session. However, let us go back in time to see how it came to be this way. This trial has taken longer than anyone anticipated. And from the beginning, Melly supporters have been yelling about unfairness, no bond, many murders, and double murder. Mistrials, with prosecutors showing up like they're trying out for law and order. In this situation, it was all. However, it recently reached a completely new degree of disorder. You see, Melly's team said for months that there were only vibes and text messages, not hard proof. However, this footage goes well beyond vibrations. The video purports to show a blurry figure that matches Melly's height and build, wearing a jacket that resembles the one that was posted on his Instagram the night of the murders, and leaving the scene at the precise moment that the prosecutors have been attempting to put on him for years. According to sources seated in the courtroom, yes, it was grainy, but this was enough to make the jurors tilt forward in their seats in a murder case when every shadow counts. It gets considerably messier from here. It was not even intended to show the footage. Oh, the original discovery did not include it. According to one source, an IT technician from the Miramar Police Department unintentionally sent it to the prosecution via email while presumably performing a standard sweep of erased material from the surveillance backup files. According to a different source, the video was purposefully concealed during the initial inquiry since it was too inconclusive. Now, which is it? A cover-up or incompetence? Melly's lawyers were unprepared for it. Whatever it is, mid-playback. His lead defense lawyer stood up and objected so forcefully that she almost knocked over her own paralegal's laptop. She described the video as perhaps fake, unconfirmed, and inadmissible. But the judge, looking more fed up than A substitute teacher in June just sighed and allowed it to continue. "Let the jury decide what they see," she explained. And, oh, they noticed everything. According to sources, Melly lost all self-control inside. No more coolness. Don't play the media game anymore. His face went crimson. Someone said he yelled something under his breath. "That's not even me," some people say. Others claim that he changed it and stated F*********. In any event, he was losing his composure. The jury then, locked in none of them froze, staring as if they had just witnessed a ghost move across the courthouse floor. Naturally, social media went viral in a matter of minutes. Despite the trial's camera ban, it was obvious that someone had their phone in their lap. The 15-second video of Melly's response has already received 10 million views after leaking onto X, formerly Twitter. Fans are polarized over Melly's breakdown and the courtroom leak, which are trending in 5 different nations. Some others are yelling "frame," claiming that the video doesn't support their claims. Others are sobbing, saying it's over, stating that this was the last nail in the coffin. This is where things become even more unsettling, though. The video was purportedly taken from a street camera that a private home security firm had placed. Attorneys are now wondering how the video even made it this far after the original homeowner left 5 years ago. The initial police file did not mention it. During the initial trial, it was not turned over. Has nothing to do with anything. Now, Melly's side is accusing him of foul play and claiming that the entire legal system has compromised by evidence bombs at the last minute. Inside the courtroom, an unidentified insider said, "This isn't about justice anymore, it's about theatrics. They're putting on a show. To be honest, they might be correct. Let's take a moment to discuss that show." Prosecutors arrived prepared. Newly pressed suits and a slideshow set up like a pitch from Silicon Valley. The leaked clip was shown as though it were a post-credit scene from Marvel. It was there after a dramatic pause, a remote control click, and a dimming of the lights, frame by frame. Someone exiting the SUV's rear. The SUV in which YNW Juvie and YNW Sockheiser were discovered dead. Melly was said to have been in the same SUV, and he is purportedly seen on camera leaving it now. Naturally, Melly's camp responded quickly. They had a news conference outside the courthouse less than 24 hours after the video was revealed. With his mother at the front, crying, holding a Bible in one hand and a Justice for Jamal placard in the other. "It's a witch hunt," as she stated that they want to bury my kid because they need someone to blame, and not because he did anything, but because he is well known. However, the general public is no longer so certain. Even famous people who used to back Melly have stopped talking. No more Freemly or reposts, just awkward silence, as if they're waiting to see how terrible this storm actually becomes. Then there are fan speculations. Fan theories? Oh man. As if they were managing a CIA lab, TikTok detectives are out here frame zooming, improving audio, and comparing walk cycles. A user shared a side-by-side analysis of Melly's walk from an old song video in contrast to the figure in the released footage. Caption: "That's his exact shoulder roll, everyone." More than 4 million likes. But one big concern remains, as lingering as Florida humidity. Why now if this footage has always been there? Why would you leak in the middle of a trial? Why? Now when the jury was already having trouble rendering a decision. According to some insiders, it was a calculated action. Before closing arguments, one more attempt was made to undermine Melly's credibility. Also, it might have succeeded. When the court that day, Melly was wrapped and led out with a lot of security, face down, hood over his head, and for the first time in weeks, he was silent. No waving, no smiles, just gone. Additionally, he remained silent all the way back to his holding cell, according to 2 deputies. However, this trial is not yet over. In no way, because the entire story might be restarted if the video is found to be admissible. A whole new legal battle is triggered if it is determined to be phony or manipulated. And a 25-year-old is in the midst of it all. Rapper who may be witnessing the collapse of his life in real time after once singing about having murder on his mind. And then, just when you thought there was no more sinister side to this case, there is. The courtroom was in a frenzy after prosecutors unveiled a digital bombshell, previously thought to be corrupted. A grainy time-stamped security clip appeared out of nowhere and was miraculously repaired. Is it by chance, or did someone finally give up under duress and turn over the goods? A car is apparently seen speeding along a peaceful Florida back road in the video. Just shadows flickering under a sickly orange streetlight, no headlights, no sound. One shot echoes at 2:37 a.m., the timestamp for the murders, and then there is a spooky silence. The worst part, though, is this. According to analysts, Melly's silhouette can be seen getting out of the back seat, pacing wildly, and then getting back into the car. Reporters said Melly's entire mood altered within the courtroom. He tightened his fingers. Screenshot, voice notes, and one voicemail from an unidentified number that said, "You're next, dog. We don't miss twice." And for a single moment, the jury appeared uncertain. Could Melly have flipped the tables in a last-ditch effort to survive? Could the entire crime scene have been an unplanned, spontaneous reaction? Was this Melvin versus the world, or just a dying child attempting to survive in a deadly trap? Even if that angle gained traction, it didn't change the fact that the crime scene was staged, the car was driven away from the scene, and the bullet holes were irregular. After a week of viral footage, psychotic alter egos, confessions wrapped in ramen, and courtroom drama that would rival any Netflix documentary, the jury was told to get ready for deliberation in the final moments of court. The public, on the other hand, was ready for blood. Social media saw a nuclear meltdown, with fan pages dividing, Melly's defenders claiming he was framed, others calling for life without parole, and even Meek Mill tweeting, "This whole case is wicked." I couldn't tell if he was defending Melly or criticizing the system. The courtroom was silent, and everyone's eyes were on the jury. One juror was wiping away tears, and another was fidgeting so much that his chair squeaked every 12 seconds. Melly didn't blink or breathe. The judge then said 7 words that stopped everything we thought we knew. "We will reconvene once a verdict is reached." Then everything faded to black. But here's what we know. Something changed in that courtroom. Now, the world waits. Is YNW Melly the cold-blooded mastermind everyone fears? Or is he a kid caught in a chaos bigger than he ever imagined? One thing is certain. The truth is messier than the murder itself. And when that verdict is handed down, the internet might never recover. This is no longer just about a rapper with a strange alter ego. It's about truth, betrayal, and the lengths someone will go to in order to rewrite their own story.